There was a student in Germany who went into his mother's garden after drinking a cup of tea. He came back 3 minutes later wearing nothing but a bloody towel with blood dripping from his mouth. The student had used a pair of rusty gardening shears to cut off his tongue and penis. He did this because the tea in question was Brugmansia tea, also known as the angel's trumpet or the zombie drug. This shrub is so powerful that the CIA and the Soviet Union used it as a type of truth serum. Known globally for its magnificent smell of heaven and roses, but littered with toxic alkaloids called scopolamine and atropine. Drinking, smoking, snorting, or smelling this poison can attack your central nervous system and block your receptors' activity. Some other lesser known side effects are dried mouth, blurred vision, illusions, dilated pupils, hives, rashes, hallucinations, diarrhea, tachycardia, and a severe sense of complete and utter terror. Now, some people hear hallucinations and illusions and think, oh, I can use this as a replacement for LSD and shrooms because it's legal and don't grown domestically all over the world. But the effects this poison has on your mind is your mind telling you that it's on the brink of death. Now, since this little poison causes severe disconnection from reality, if you survive your trip, you can't trust yourself to remember it accurately. And for that matter, 3 or 4 days after the fact, since this poison blocks your receptors, you could be a living, walking zombie. Now, this also affects your memory storage in a way that other drugs cannot, which is why some people report terrifyingly large black bugs, shock white people with no faces, dragons with enormous fangs, demons replacing loved ones in a fairy change-like way fashion, and a constant sense of fear and utter terror. Without warning, the entire right side of my body shut off. My arm, leg, even my eye suddenly went limp, sending me crashing into the sand. I felt very confused, having no idea why I'd just fallen. As I continued walking along the beach, this phenomenon happened again and again, each time sending me into the sand. Meanwhile, my friend's girlfriend, whom we had lost about a half hour earlier, had finally returned, plopped down next to my girlfriend, both of which were having deep conversations with absolutely no one at all. He seemed fine, bruised and battered, but coherent. He functioned normally in society for 2 days. On the third day, he called me in a panic. He had no idea what had happened after we took the tea. These were snippets from a trip story called The Wildest Night Ever by the Great Bee of Reddit. This story is about 4 people who drink Brugmansia tea and then go to the beach. Fortunately, the cops were called and they were properly detained before they can cause harm to themselves or others. Now, wild growth Brugmansia does not have a label, but in medicated doses, it is used to treat motion sickness in astronauts and pilots. But depending on the season, the weather, even the location, each shrub can have varying amounts of poison, which is why it is a terrible idea to use this plant to try to get high. Okay. Brugmansia has been used in many different ways for humans to try to get high, but we really shouldn't do this. This is not a drug, it is a poison, and it affects your mind in a way that normal drugs cannot. Now, Brugmansia is beautiful and has a magnificent smell, but it really just wants to be left alone and admired from afar, and we should continue to do that. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and remember, don't play with poison.